To show you how to do a cross-database join specifically, and I'm going to use a method from the Flerlage Twins where they have creating a date scaffold in Tableau in their Flerlage Twins blog page. So here I'm connecting to the sample superstore data set. And as you see here, I brought the orders table to the canvas. So I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by data is missing. So I'm going to go to sheet 1, and I'm going to create a calendar with our data. So I'm going to drag order date to the column's shelf, and I'm going to select week, day. Then I'm going to drag order date to the rows shelf, and I'm going to select week number. And I'm doing this on each pill with the drop down arrow next to it. So order date, I selected week day, and here I'm selecting week number. The next thing I want to do is I want to filter the view because I don't want to see all of the years of data. I just want to see the most recent year, and I want to see the most recent month. So I'm going to, there's several ways to do this, but I'm going to just do a quick filter by right-clicking on order date and select show filter. So this will bring order date over to the right-hand side, and I'm going to select 2021 because it's already going to be formatted for the year. The next thing I'm going to do is drag order date to the filter shelf, and I'm going to pick months instead of years. So I'll select months there and select the next button. And I'm going to filter to the latest date value when the workbook is opened. This is a good option if your data updates. It's always going to be dynamic, and it's always going to pick that latest month. So I'm going to click OK. And here I have December. So I'm going to show December and for the most recent year. And then I'm going to put sales on the text marks card, but I'm missing something here. For Sunday, well, what day is this? So I'm going to click on that month of order date filter and hold the control key down on my keyboard to duplicate this pill. And I'm going to put it on text. Well, I'm going to expand this out a little bit, and I'm going to select day from this drop down. So I could see I've got the sales and then I've got the day, but it's not very clear that it's a day. So I'm going to click on that text marks card and select this ellipsis here for more options. And I'm going to just type the word day in this edit label pop-up menu. So I'm going to click apply, and now you can see this is day 30, and you can see all the sales there in this calendar. But what happened to December 31st and December 12th? Well, our data source doesn't have any rows for day 12 of December 2021. It does not have a row for December 31st, 2021. So that's why there's no information. If I right click on sales and select format, I could try to put a 0 here in special values null, but there's no rows, so Tableau doesn't know to put a 0 there. Doesn't know to put day 31 or day 12 in this data set. So the way to solve for this is to do a cross-database join, and the Flerlage Twins has this in, they have this all in one worksheet. And I'm going to do this with different worksheets just so you can see the cross-database join. So I'm going to go back to the data source, and I'm going to select new data source, and I'm going to select Microsoft Excel, and I'm going to pick first this customers worksheet. So all I did for this customers worksheet is I took out the customer ID and customer name from that sample superstore data set, and I removed the duplicates. So this is creating a customer kind of table here. So the other thing I need to do is I need to do a join with a date data set. So I'm going to click add. Whenever you click add, you're creating a cross-database join. So I'm clicking on add here. I'm going to select Microsoft Excel again, and I'm going to pick this data source that I created earlier with just the dates. And if you go under sheet, if you have date selected, notice the first data source is in blue and the second data source is in orange. And there is this view data button under sheet 1. So if I click that button, I can see date starts with 1/1/2018. I know this is the beginning of my data. And I added all the way down to 12/31/2021 because that's the last date that this data source should have. So I'm going to double click on sheet 1, because if you double click on sheet 1, it says double click to see the logical, double click this logical table to see its physical table. So I'm going to double click on that, and Tableau is going to put it inside of this box here. And it's going to give this blue tab on the left hand side. Well, with dates selected, I'm going to drag this sheet 1 onto this area, and you can see it's highlighted in orange where you can drag it. And I'm going to create a join, because if you look at the details for these two data sources, customer name is just, the customers table is just customer ID and customer name. And the secondary data source just has a column called date. So there is not a column in common or a primary key for these two data sources. So I have to create one. So where it says add a new join clause, and Tableau didn't find a column in common, that's why we have that red explanation point up here. So I'm going to click this down arrow where it says add a new join clause. So I'm going to select down, and I'm going to select create join calculation. And what this will do is it'll bring up a pop-up menu that says join calculation. I'm just going to enter the number 1 here and then click OK. Then I have to repeat this step for sheet 11 and say create join calculation and put a 1 here and click OK. So here, this created a Cartesian join which added everything to everything. So Claire Goot will have a row for 1/1/2018. She'll also now have a row for 1/2/2018 and 1/3/2018 and so on. And so will all of the other customers that are in the customer data set. And I have this article here about what a Cartesian join is, and it's also called a cross join. And in a Cartesian join, there exists a join for every row of every table to every row of some other table. So adding everything to everything. And so this is with the BYJUS site. So I just Googled it, and that's the site that I saw that had a good explanation for what a Cartesian join is. So this is just the first step. Now I want to add the orders table from the sample superstore. So I'm going to click on add again. Under connections, I'm going to say to a Microsoft Excel file, and I'm going to navigate to where that sample superstore file is. I'm going to select open. Now I have a third data source here, and you can see that orders, people's, returns. So I'm going to drag orders to the canvas here. Oh, it's going to try to automatically join it to sheet 1 because there is a customer ID in sheet 1. But I want to edit this join. You see it also did an inner join, and I want to change that to a left join. So I'm going to click on this Venn diagram, and I can see that it said customer ID to customer ID. Okay. I'm going to select the left join. So I'm saying, hey, Tableau, bring in any customer that has a date, even if they don't have any sales. If they do have sales, bring in that sales information from the orders table, when you find the two that are in common. And then I'm going to add a secondary join clause. I'm going to say date equals order date. So, yep, it inserts some null records here. And if I scroll down into my data set, I can scroll down and see, okay, so Claire didn't have any sales on the 1st of, January. But if I scroll down, oh, look, it looks like somebody had some sales here, maybe on the 4th. I know it's kind of fat. Oh, there we go. So, wherever there was sales, I know I'm going kind of fast here. Whenever sales. So here, there's sales for Felina. And there's customer ID, but she looks like she made multiple purchases. Looks like there's it's row ID, looks 740, 741, 742. So there's different products here for this purchase that was made on 1/4/2018. So now I want to recreate that calendar that I created before using this cross database join. And I'm going to call this CrossDatabaseJoin. Just so I can differentiate this data set from my other data set. So I could see Order Superstore and our CrossDatabaseJoin here. So I'm going to go to Sheet 2, and I'm going to recreate that calendar that I created before. So I'm going to go ahead and click that X to exit out of that Format Data pane. And I'm going to put date, use the date column from the new data source. I'm not going to use order date like we did in the previous calendar view. So I'm going to grab date and perform all of those steps again. So I'm going to drag date to the columns shelf and select week day. Then I'm going to drag date to the rows shelf and select week number. Then I'm going to filter on date to show months and do that December month. And then I'm going to put date on the filter shelf and filter out by that latest year of 2021. So I have my December 2021 calendar view here. Now I'm going to put sales from the orders table onto the text marks card. Okay, so it looks very similar to our last calendar. I'm also going to grab month from the filter shelf, hold that control key down, and put it on that text marks card. And I'm going to change this to that day again so we could see, oh, look, now we have a day for December 12th, and now we have December 31st in the calendar. So I'm going to click on that text marks card and click on the ellipsis button, and I'm going to put day here, just like I did in the previous exercise. So it's really calling out, those dates. And I'm also going to do that same exercise where I right-clicked on sales and selected format, but for special values null, I'm going to put a 0. So I now have a 0 value for that Sunday on December 12th and a 0 value for that Friday on December 31st. So data scaffolding and doing that cross-database join added those null rows so we can now have values for those two dates that were previously missing.